Sir, one more thing I wanted to ask you that shall I attend the competitive classes or I should focus on a self-study?
It depends again from individual to individual. If you can attend classes, well and good, because that gives you direction. As we say in Sanskrit and Marathi, Guru is required. Guru is the one who enlightens you, who shows you the path where you should be going. But again, if the financial constraints stop you from attending classes, doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
You can study on your own. You can take guidance from some senior and you could go ahead. Classes or no classes, it doesn't make any difference.
Hello friends, welcome to all of you for this unique broadcast Matter That Matters with Dr. Deepak Mhaisekar. Friends, today we shall be discussing about the most important aspect, that is competitive examination and precisely MPSC. Friends, myself B.L. Joshi, I am a corporate trainer. I am a psychological counselor. We are into the NLP techniques and I am a business storyteller. And we have a very eminent podcaster here, Dr. Deepak Mhaisekar, who is a retired I.A.S. officer. He has given his services for long 37 years. He has led various leading positions throughout the Maharashtra and India. He was the divisional commissioner of the Pune. He was a special advisor to Chief Minister of Maharashtra. And friends, all of us have faced a very critical condition of COVID, and he was the one who was instrumental in assisting the rededication of a COVID. He is the one who can speak various languages, Marathi, Hindi, English. He is known for it. He has got a command on the German and Russian language. So let me tell you, friends, he is the one who is the right person to guide us about how to start preparing yourself to your dream education, that is MPSC. And precisely, we shall be talking about the prelims in this chapter. So let's have a grand welcome of Deepak Mhaisekar, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Deepak Mhaisekar. Was serving in the state for last 35 years in various capacities. And since I superannuated in 2020, I was advisor to the Chief Minister and presently working as State Environmental Authority Chairman. Dear friends, the name of the podcast itself suggests Matter That Matters. What else would matter more for you than the destiny that is going to be shaped through the competitive exam? So you'd be preparing for a competitive exam. May it be State Public Service Commission exam or Union Public Service Commission exam, or for that matter, any other competitive exam. Though in this podcast, I'll be restricting myself to the State Public Service Commission exam, and that too, the preliminary exams of it. As you know, the system of examination is such that you have to appear for prelim exam and then the main exams and finally interview. In between all these three phases, a gap of 2 to 3 months is there. So right now I'm speaking to you about the preliminary exams. And in the following podcast, we'll be talking about the main exam and followed by interview technique. So in short, when you are preparing for the Maharashtra Public Service Commission prelim exam, what you need to know about, how you need to prepare, when should you start your preparation, all these things I'm likely to cover in this podcast. So please watch this and the following podcasts, which would be talking about this examination. I'll be talking to you about this examination in future.
Fine. Dr. Deepak sir, can you tell me, when the students are preparing for the MPSC examination, what exactly is expected by them?
See, MPSC exam, as I said, the Maharashtra Public Service Commission exam is conducted in three parts: the prelim, the mains, and the interview. First and foremost important thing is the preliminary exam is just a qualifying exam. Once you pass through prelim, what you have scored in your prelim exam doesn't matter or is not counted towards your final score. And therefore, once you are qualified in your prelim exam, you are eligible to appear for the main exam. And of course, when you clear through it, you are eligible to appear for the interview. In Maharashtra, more than 2.5 to 3 lakh students appear for this exam. And the exam pattern has been changed by the Maharashtra Public Service Commission. The common exam, the preliminary exam, is conducted not only for the state civil services, but also for some technical services along with it. It could be agriculture or it could be engineering and other. And once you qualify in your prelim exam, then there are separate exams for each discipline. The state civil service exam, in which generally the posts that are included are Deputy Collector, DYSP, Deputy Chief Executive Officer or Class 1 Block Development Officer. Then you have Deputy Registrar Cooperative. Then you have the TILR or the Taluka Inspector of Land Records. And of course, Tahsildar, Block Development Officer Class 2, Chief Officer, Municipal Council. There are n number of posts for which you can be selected through this examination.
Fine. Thank you so much, sir. You have given a detailed information that what's going to be your future after you appear for the examination. Sir, I just wanted to come back to the basics. Who can appear for this exam? Do I need to be a graduate for it? And yes, then which faculty?
See, as far as the Maharashtra Public Service Commission exams are concerned, any graduate can appear for it. Even a graduate who is supposed to appear for his final exams, he can appear, but the only condition is before he appears for his main exam, he must have cleared his graduation. So any graduate of any faculty, may it be agriculture, may it be veterinary, may it be commerce, arts, science, or for that matter, even medicine or engineering, can appear for this exam and can get through it. And depending on their choice, they can opt for different posts.
Fine, thank you. Friends, you have heard that you may belong to any faculty, you can still appear for this MPSC examination. Sir, one more thing I wanted to, you said graduation is must. Well, can I start from the 12th standard for preparing the examination?
See, for any competitive exam, as I said, whether it is Maharashtra Public Service Commission or Union Public Service Commission, or for that matter, even a banking competitive exam, you cannot just be exam-oriented. You cannot prepare for the exam and will say, I'll get prepared for the exam and will clear through and then get selected. It has to be in your mindset, right from 10th or even for that matter 8th. In fact, when I'll be talking to you about UPSC exam, I'll be talking about it. The NCERT books are the one which would give you the insight of the various subjects, and those are required. So whether you are in matriculation, whether you are in 8th, there are certain subjects which you need to prepare, like basic history, geography, the constitution. Those are not going to change overnight. There may be certain modification in it, certain addition in it, but the basic subject remains the same. And therefore, preparation of an exam can start at any moment.
Dr. Deepak sir, याच्याकरता एज लिमिट काय असतं?
याच्यामध्ये प्रामुख्याने जे जनरल कॅटेगरीचे स्टुडंट्स आहेत त्यांच्यासाठी किमान वय 19 वर्ष असायला पाहिजे आणि मॅक्झिमम त्यांचं 38 पर्यंत एज गेलं तरी चालतं. फक्त याच्यामध्ये वेगवेगळे जे आरक्षणाचे प्रवर्ग आहेत त्यांना 5-5 वर्षाचं रिलॅक्सेशन मिळतं, म्हणजे रफली साधारण 43 पर्यंत दे कंटिन्यू टू बी इलिजिबल आणि दे विल बी इलिजिबल फॉर अपेअरिंग फॉर एक्झाम. ॲज फार एज the physically challenged people are concerned, they are given a relaxation up to 45 years. Apart from this, if somebody is an ex-serviceman, he would get that benefit of his service, whatever he has served for the nation in the military, that much is relaxation of 5 years he would be getting if he has gone on a short service commission. And that also adds to his qualifying. So again, he becomes eligible up to the age of 43. So in general, it is 19 to 38 with these relaxations in certain categories.
Fine. So friends, you can always consider yourself right from 19 years, start preparing for the examination MPSC, and you can keep on trying up to the age of 38. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask a very basic question. Sir, what is the difference between the MPSC and UPSC?
First, a slight correction. You said one can start preparing for exam after 19. One need not wait. In fact, the moment he enters, he does his matriculation. Why matriculation? The moment he enters into his school, then he can start preparing for the exam.
Okay.
It need not be intentional preparation, but general knowledge. What is general knowledge? General knowledge is history, knowing the history of the country, the geography of the country, the polity of the country, the constitution of the country. And this one can learn, and this is not going to change overnight. There will be some additions, some changes. So one can start preparing as early as when he is 12 to 13 years of age.
Okay.
Of course, the more specific training, the more target-oriented training and learning could be at a later stage. But one can start preparing early. Now, you asked about UPSC and MPSC. These are totally two different type of exams. Union Public Service Commission recruits or conducts an exam for almost 27 different categories of the posts. Maharashtra Public Service Commission also around 24-25 different categories of posts are, the officers are selected through these exams. But the basic difference is, when I was talking of Indian history, when you go at UPSC level, you will also be required to know the world history as well, which probably you will not be asked in Maharashtra Public Service Commission. But you need to be aware about the world history when you are appearing for the Union Public Service Commission. Secondly, the number of candidates that appear for UPSC are across India. So you have a very tough competition when you are preparing for UPSC. In MPSC, the second advantage is you can even appear your exam in Marathi, though this is also permitted in UPSC, but hardly any student prepare for UPSC in Marathi, very few. Because if you choose 2 subjects for UPSC, you are not likely to get that much reading material in Marathi, and therefore people opt for going for English medium. That's not the case in MPSC. In MPSC, you can go for the Marathi medium and appear in Marathi medium, and there is a lot of reading material available for it. So you have to target what you want to be. If you are to be appearing for UPSC, fortunately, from last year, the syllabus for UPSC and MPSC has become almost similar. Earlier, it used to be a totally different syllabus for UPSC and MPSC. Now the syllabus is same, but the difficulty level differs. The difficulty level for MPSC and the difficulty level for UPSC would differ. And that's what makes the difference. And therefore, one has to decide and take a decision as to where he wants to go.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Because that was the most important aspect. So we thought that let's have a clarity about. You said something about the history, sir. When we talk about the history, you said MPSC, it is for the local, and UPSC, it is on a broader aspect on the worldwide. So are we including I.A.S, Indian Knowledge System, or the history in MPSC curriculum?
Yes, we are including it, but as I said, the history paper revolves around the Indian history, and to be more precise, Maharashtra history.
Okay.
So, Indian history in general, but Maharashtra history is more emphasized on it. And we must understand, in Maharashtra Public Service Commission, when I'm talking of prelim exam, it's a qualifying exam. There are two papers in it. The first paper is the compulsory paper, in which general knowledge, there are different aspects which I was just discussing with you, like geography, history, the polity. Every subject is allotted roughly 15 questions. And it's a 200 mark paper. Then you have CSAT paper, the second.
Okay.
Your ability to become civil service aptitude. Do you have that? So CSAT. So if you CSAT has only qualifying level, and the qualifying is 33%.
Okay.
So if you score 33% in your second paper, you are qualified, and then only your first paper marks would be counted. And your merit would be decided on the marks you scored in your first paper. Second paper is qualifying paper, and hence if you fail to score 33%, you are out of the race. In spite of you getting good marks in the first paper, you will not be considered for MPSC main. Secondly, for the first paper, there is a negative marking. For every wrong answer that you attempt, you lose 1/4 mark. That is 2.5 marks come, because there are 80 questions, 200 marks. So roughly 2.5 per. So if you make 4 questions wrong, give 4 wrong answers, you are likely to lose 2.5 marks. So if you are not confident about the answer, better don't attempt it. Because at least you will not be losing mark. If you are not gaining, that's another story. There are certain exceptions like decision making or maths calculation, for which there is no negative marking. But that's only a part of the paper. Overall, in the paper, there would be deduction for every wrong answer. As far as qualifying exam is concerned, or the CSAT paper is questioned, it is mostly about comprehension. Okay. You have to read paragraphs and comprehend it, and then answer to the questions that are put on that particular paragraph. And if you score around 33.5, as I said, you are qualified. Then whether you score 50 or whether you score 60 is immaterial. You have to qualify. That's it. Your marks in the first paper would be the one which would decide your rank. And that is the way it is decided. Generally, I'm talking of very rough estimate, 12,000 people would qualify the prelim. If there are roughly 2.5 to 3 lakh students appearing, 12,000 would be qualifying for the main exam. So you need to be amongst those top 10 to 12,000 so that you are qualified for the main. And as I said, this is again a qualifying exam. Now, whether you are 9,000 or whether you are number one hardly matters. Because for men, again, you have to appear on your own, and then you have to score there, and based on that score, you would be considered for the interview and further selection.
Okay. See, for the general ranking, it is 35%, and for MPSC, it's 33%. Is it not a good news?
No, 33%, as I said, it's qualifying only for CSAT paper.
Okay.
CSAT paper is your aptitude towards civil service. How much aptitude you have. You read the paragraph and how do you interpret it? How do you give the answers to it? One can see these question answers and last year's papers are available on MPSC website. For any student who is preparing for exam should go on MPSC website, get the papers downloaded for at least last 2 years, because prior to that there was a different exam pattern. So get those downloaded and try to solve those. That will give you a fair idea as to how the question paper is likely to be. And that's the way you should be preparing for it. For other first paper, as I said already, it is the standard. Indian history, mathematical reasoning, decision making, geography, Indian constitution, and current subjects or current knowledge. What is happening around the world? Say, for example, you may be asked about this year, you could be asked about the Israel-US war against Iran. Current affairs. There could be anything. You could be asked about SIR, the summary intensive revision that is going on and has become a controversy for electoral roll. That could be another question. So it could be anything, or you could be asked about the economic status of the state. Just now we have got the economic survey published just prior to the budget. So you could be asked about it. So current aspects and the basic subject like history, geography, and every question will carry somewhere around 15 questions of each type. And you need to appear those.
Okay. So you're saying that since the pattern of the examination has changed, I may look into the last 2 years' previous papers.
Correct.
That is A aspect.
Correct.
Simultaneously, I have to go for the additional reading in a large way because lots of things are happening around, and current affairs, I must be aware about it. This when we are talking about current affairs, I must know the both of the side of the point.
Correct.
Yeah, that I should not be a bias. That is
Correct.
what may be expected from the examination. That's okay. Sir, how many hours preparation is required to appear for the MPSC prelim exam?
I wouldn't put any hours restriction on it. It depends on your grasping capacity. It depends on your concentration. It depends on your preparedness. It depends on your reading material and how much effort you put in. Even a preparation of 3 hours per day could see you through. And somebody who is not preparing properly, the one who doesn't have proper reading material may work hard for hours together and may still not get through. So basically, preparing with proper study material and practicing the earlier question papers will give you, because reasoning is very delicate thing. All 4 options prima facie would look same. After you read the paragraph, you go to the question. There are 4 multiple choice.
So you're referring to the MCQ.
MCQ. Now, if you go to the 4 MCs, all will prima facie will look same, but you have to identify which is the correct one.
Right.
And that is what is important. Sometimes you could be asked in another way. Out of the 4 listed below, which is the wrong one? So first read the question properly, comprehend it, and then try to answer it. If you are not sure, again I would tell you, just leave that, attempt it at a later stage when you have time. But advisable not to appear if you are not sure about it.
Very good. See, since you are referring to the study material, the last 2 years papers, can you suggest some book list?
There can be a lot of books are coming out in market. It would not be proper on my part to suggest 1 or 2. But yes, in this podcast only, below the podcast, I would give some name of the books.
Okay.
But again, I am making it very clear that those books are not the only books which are available.
Okay.
There are n number of books available in the market, and one could refer any book. But the textbook that you are reading, the NCERT book, they are the one which are very good for your history, your polity, or your geography. They are the books which you could refer, and they are published by Government of India, NCERT. Apart from that, there are so many competitive books that are coming in market from different publishers. So it may not be right on my part to name one or two here.
I understand. So first is the last 2 years papers, maybe one aspect, maybe a state boards, which is published by the state board.
And in addition to that, as I said, the state budget, the union budget, the union economy survey, the state economic survey, this will give you a clear idea about the economy of the state as well as the India. And that is what is asked in your question paper. And there cannot be any other authentic document than Government of India or Government of Maharashtra publication, which generally comes just prior to your budget.
Okay. So now let me ask you one more question. Since you are referring to this curriculum, syllabus or the books, is newspaper is more vital or the magazines? Or you would suggest both?
See, as I said, it is the selective reading which matters. If you read the newspaper, generally, the youths, I am not blaming them, that's quite normal. They would more focus on the sports. They would more focus on some. What is important is the analytical articles that are coming in the editorials. There could be editorials. It could be even in Marathi newspaper like Lok Satta, or editorial in Hindustan Times, editorial in Times of India, because they would be tackling a particular subject in depth. If it is the Middle East war, they would be going to the origin of it to the present context, which probably no news would cover. The news will tell you that today 2 planes shot down, 3 people died, whatever. That is not relevant as far as your exam is concerned. What is relevant is, what is the cause of the war? Why did it start in the first place? And what are the claims or stakes at that in this war? And where it is likely to end? And how it is going to impact the world? That is what is important. So newspaper, yes, one should read, but selective reading. Same thing about magazines. Again, I would not name 1 or 2 magazines, but there are certain magazines which come out with a comprehensive articles on a particular subject. And the moment you read it, you will come to know from A to Z of that particular subject. So such magazines are good. One can refer. Basic Statistics magazine, Basic Economy magazine, the Survey of Maharashtra Economy, which again comes, that also is the important. So all this will have to be read. Basic Constitution. Constitution has to be read. But generally, as I said, I would not take a name, but we used to follow Basu's Constitution. It has a commentary on each provision in the Constitution, each article of the Constitution, how one can interpret it, what are the judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court pertaining to that particular article. So that is what is important, because reading only the abstract Constitution, probably one may not understand the whole aspects of it, but with a commentary on it, yes, I'm saying, as again I will make it very clear, I'm referring to one, but there can be so many other. Likewise, economy, we used to refer that Som Sundaram. Now there may be some economists who have come and who are giving better books. So it is in the market, different books are available. Go through it and just choose one out of it.
Fine. So, friends, we have heard from the horse's mouth that you should read the newspaper and you should be very precise about reading the articles, how it has started and where it goes. And you can refer to some of the magazines also. Sir, one more thing I wanted to ask you, that shall I attend the competitive classes or I should focus on a self-study?
It depends, again, from individual to individual. If you can attend classes, well and good, because that gives you direction. As we say in Sanskrit and Marathi, Guru is required.
Yes.
Guru is the one who enlightens you, who shows you the path where you should be going. But again, if the financial constraints stop you from attending classes, doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
You can study on your own. You can take guidance from some senior and you could go ahead. Classes or no classes, it doesn't make any difference. So you have to first plan how you should be studying. And there are so many. Nowadays, this particular generation is very fortunate enough. There is a lot of literature and podcasts like I'm speaking, which are available on internet. They can just see those and take a clue in which direction they are supposed to go, how they are supposed to prepare. And they can just prepare themselves on their own. And I really don't know the statistics, but I think at least those who are selected out of that minimum, that is my guesstimate, not an estimate, 30% would be the one who have never attended any classes, but have got selected. I never attended one in my life.
So you are the most ideal example.
I never attended a single class. I prepared on my own and got. Of course, in those days, the classes were not that common. Now you have it. And in our times, even internet was not there. So reading material was restricted to the hard copies which are available in the market, or the magazines and the books that are available in the market. Okay. Nowadays, you don't have to. You just type anything and Google will give you answer. You type anything, ChatGPT will answer you. There are so many AI assistants to help you, and they will give you all the answers of your questions.
That's great. That was a great answer. But it's a big lesson for all of us that if my financial abilities are not giving me an opportunity to attend the classes, I can always go for the self-study. And as you said very correctly, 30% of the students have passed the examination without appearing for the classes.
This is my guesstimate.
Yeah,
I don't have a statistical data on it.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
And you are the most ideal example. Without any classes, you could
one thing I would like to tell every student who is appearing for exam, always be prepared or have a plan A, a plan B, and plan C. Sometimes I find students who have put in their 3 or 4 years of their life and for one or the other reason couldn't get selected. And then they become frustrated in their life, which should not happen. See, you must give your 100% effort. In spite of that, if you are not selected, there is some issue. Then you should have your plan B. If I am not getting selected for UPSC, I may try for MPSC. If I am not getting selected for MPSC, I must try for banking services or staff selection. Every student should not forget, especially the ones who are coming from rural background, their mother and their parents, their mother, father, or parents have a lot of aspirations from these students, from the one who is appearing for exam. So, if you don't succeed, they think it is their failure. Success is not in your hand. Success, you should try, you will try, and most of you will succeed. But mind well, out of 3 lakhs appearing for exam or 2.5 lakh appearing for exam, only 1,000 are selected every year. So the chances of you getting selected are just by probability 1:300. So keep your plan B ready, keep your plan C ready, and unfortunately, if you don't get a job, what should be your alternative plan? That also should be ready.
Okay.
Because your parents have spent their whole life in upbringing you.
Right.
And it is your duty, your responsibility to come to their expectations. And if not in service, it could be in some other sector or field, you should succeed.
Thank you for clarifying this aspect in the deepest extent possible. So if I'm preparing for MPSC and if I'm not selected, doesn't matter, no one should get disturbed about this. There are lots of other opportunity because I have prepared myself for that.
Correct.
And that's a very big asset, you would say that.
Correct.
So thank you for sharing this. One more thing I would like to ask you. What are the challenges the normal students are facing while preparing for the examination, while appearing for the examination? What is your experience?
As I said, challenges is your commitment and devotion. That is the first and foremost challenge. You should keep yourself away from all social media in this period. Most of the youth generation that I am finding, they are either on Instagram, they are either on Facebook, they are either on Twitter. What are the other social media? That is a very distraction at the highest point. You should not be distracted and you should be very focused. So I would advise a student appearing for any competitive exam not to have a smartphone. Just a simple phone which can communicate with your parents, your teacher, or anyone else. No smartphone, no Twitter, no social handle, nothing. Once you succeed in your life, all these are there for you throughout your life. So you don't have to waste your time now. And most important is, as I said, you need to be focused, you need to be totally devoted and committed. With a proper guidance from someone, you are likely to succeed. I wish all of you a good success, and I'll be talking to you in my following podcast about your further preparation for your mains, preparation for your future. And in life, one exam failure doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
The best example is none other than APJ Kalam. He was not selected as pilot. He was not selected. Probably as a pilot, he would have just flown a plane. But by not getting selected, he just saw to that the Indian rockets and atom bomb are coming in place. So there is no other example better than him, which gives you life. In life, one failure doesn't mean you have failed in your life. There are a number of opportunities.
That's great. Thank you, sir. Thank
the
you.
destiny must have planned you for some other opportunity than this. But give your 100% when you are preparing for exam.
Yes, and APJ Abdul Kalam, that's the ultimate example you have given. I hope that everybody will be inspired and motivated with this. A last question, sir. What is your final advice to the aspiring student of MPSC?
100% commitment.
100% commitment.
100% efforts. And 100% remembering in your mind that you are there and you are doing this for your parents, your country. That is what is important. And for this society, of course, from where you come from. And that you should never forget.
Okay, and since we're talking about the MPSC, would you like to say something about the Rashtra Prem, the character building?
Character building is a subject on which one can speak for hours. But considering the time constraint, I always advise students, don't forget your parents, Don't forget your country. Rather than asking what country has given you, what have you contributed to the growth of country? Are you following civic sense? Do you follow the laws of the country? Or do you disobey it? And if you are disobeying it, at what cost? And are you doing the same thing when you are going to some other country? And if not, why can't you follow your motherland's law when you can follow any law in the world? Is it just because there is no deterrent in it? The law should be followed not because of the deterrent, but because of the commitment towards our country, commitment towards our society, commitment towards our nation. That's it.
That's great. Thank you so much, sir. Your talk was really inspiring, and those who are aspiring for the MPSC examination, they must be enlightened for this. So, wish you all the best, friends, and thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Deepak, sir.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you for a long time and an important discussion on the MPSC examination. We have talked about the prelim. Maybe in the next episode, we will talk about the mains, and subsequently we may go for the interview techniques. And the same thing will appear in the same sequence so far as the UPSC is concerned. So, always be in touch with me, with us. Keep on listening and watching to this podcast. Your life will be enriched, and your dreams you can achieve by attending to this podcast. So, thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Namaskar.
ओके कट एक शेवटचा बिल सर क्लोजिंग नोट घेऊ.
So, friends, we are at the flag end of this podcast. I am sure and very confident that you must have been motivated and inspired by listening the views of Dr. Deepak, sir. If you have any specific questions, please write to us. Please put a comment on this. And in case you feel that we should cover this subject, you can always put it in the comment box. We would like to answer to your questions also. And always remember that you will keep on watching this podcast, Matter That Matters. And thank you very much, Dr. Deepak, sir. It was being pleasure with you, and we will continue. And dear friends, you can always forward this podcast to your friends, to all those who needs this type of information, to those who are aspiring for MPSC and UPSC examination. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Matter That Matters. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.